What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Dynamite, as we look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly, as well as the latest news, including every talent released, is Ring of Honor shutting down, Goldberg's last match, Bray Teases return in 2 days, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, as always, we're not going to recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, at long last, CM Punk. As CM Punk finally wrestled on AEW Dynamite and surprisingly won, battling newly signed Bobby Fish in an exciting match. While Punk has wanted to help Rampage out by wrestling largely on AEW's Friday night show, it's hard to tell whether Rampage's average ratings, and that's being generous, have benefited all that much from Punk's presence. There may be an advantage to only have Punk wrestle on Rampage, but considering the heavy competition AEW is getting from sports, they may want to change that strategy for now. Number 2, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is all elite. Dynamite had a true WTF moment last night after Ghostbusters character the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man showed up during the climax of the 8-man tag match between the Dark Order and the Elite. While you need to watch the match to truly appreciate the insanity, we will say that the Elite dressed as the Ghostbusters characters, complete with proton packs, is awesome. But whilst the Elite's cosplay was awesome, Halloween is right around the corner, and this being wrestling, it's nothing we haven't seen before. That being said, if the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man turned out to be anyone but Adam Page, this segment would have gone straight into the downright ugly. AEW is building up to Page vs Omega for Full Gear, and if they want to have some fun on one night, why not? Number 2, Jim Ross gives zero shit. Jim Ross was fantastic on last night's Dynamite, as it's clear good old JR is giving zero shits when it comes to calling the action. Now, we don't want to read too much into Jim Ross's recent cancer diagnosis and his new approach to commentary, but something has changed and Ross is more of a straight shooter than ever. It's awesome and a refreshing change from the micromanaged commentary in the WWE. Ross may slip up in the announce booth from time to time, but his deep knowledge of wrestling combined with his willingness to speak his mind demonstrates he still has so much to offer. Number 4, Darby Allin ambushes MJF. MJF is a fantastic heel both for his heelish style and his uncanny ability to push the right buttons to set the fans off when he bruises their favourite wrestlers. As good as Maxwell Jacob Friedman is, it's important for him to get his comeuppance every now and then, and last night's segment where Darby Allin ambushed him was well executed. The segment featured MJF squashing Bryce Donovan before the Soul to the Earth teased the fans that Sting was coming out. However, when the lights went out, Sting was there, dispatching Wardlow and Shawn Spears with a baseball bat as he ran towards the crowd, unaware that Darby Allin was standing behind him wearing a trench coat right out of Inspector Gadget. No idea if he used the Go-Go Gadget skateboard. But MJF ran for his life, showing his true colours and giving fans another reason to want to see Allin battle MJF at Full Gear. Number 4, Mad Dog Moxley. Jon Moxley's dominant win over 10 in the World Eliminator Tournament served as a reminder that Moxley is all business once the bell rings. Moxley mauled one of the Dark Order's masked men, ripping 10's mask and biting him as he beat 10 down on his way to a wicked win. While Wild Thing is a good entrance for Jon Moxley, it doesn't do the maniacal madman justice, and we're challenging our viewers to come up with a more suitable entrance theme for the man who holds absolutely nothing back. And the women's match of the month, Serena Deeb vs Hikaru Shida. Last night's TBS tournament match between Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida was undoubtedly the best women's match fans have seen in AEW in a long time. Definitely AEW's match of the month when it comes to the women's division, and arguably the match of the month in any wrestling promotion. Shida scored the win, but Serena Deeb looked fantastic as well. Deeb's heel turn seems to have energized her, and that's important, particularly in a women's division that is still trying to find its identity and provide consistently entertaining matches. Despite the well-deserved criticism for the WWE's terrible booking of its women's undercard, its performers are solid wrestlers for the most part. That hasn't been the case with AEW, but here's hoping that the TBS title tournament helps highlight the true talent in AEW. But that was good. What about the bad? As number 1, a glut of nut shots. AEW has done well to avoid some of wrestling's overused elements such as frequent rematches and inconclusive finishes, i.e. countouts and DQs. For a time, it was even avoiding the overused element of the low blow. However, it's becoming more frequent, and last night's segment featured a glut of shots to the nuts. The low blow, intentional or accidental, is a good spot when it's used sparingly, but it shouldn't be used like it was last night. It's lazy booking, and it's lazy wrestling. Now, there was nothing downright ugly about last night's show as AEW advanced its big matches for Full Gear, and continued the intrigue as to whether Cody is going to turn heel, and Malachi Black proclaiming his plan to destroy Cody has worked. Now, there's a lot going on in AEW, but Dynamite never seems rushed, nor does it seem like the show is filler. The comedy antics in the main event walked a fine line between funny and goofy, but never crossed over into something downright ridiculous or ugly. But what did you guys think of last night's Dynamite? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at every talent being released and Ring of Honor shutting down. Topping the news today is Ring of Honor's decision to go on hiatus following its December Final Battle pay-per-view. Ring of Honor released a statement concerning the reason why. Throughout the pandemic, our top priority was to keep everyone healthy and safe, and despite not producing any live events over 18 months, we were able to keep everyone fully contracted. We now find ourselves at a time where we need to make changes to our business operations and are planning a pivot for Ring of Honor with a new mission and strategy. Ring of Honor's future was outlined in the remainder of the statement, saying the year will culminate with our final battle in December, and we will be taking the first quarter of 2022 to work internally to reimagine Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor has the most dedicated fans in the industry, and we appreciate their loyalty and patience as we reconceptualize Ring of Honor. We anticipate returning to live events in April for the Supercard of Honor with a new fan-focused product and provide a unique experience for wrestling fans. Now, like Extreme Championship Wrestling in the 90s, Ring of Honor provided fans with an alternative to mainstream wrestling during its heyday, helping to develop and spotlight stars ranging from AJ Styles to Samoa Joe to Seth Rollins. Now, the case can be made that Ring of Honor wrestlers Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks running 2018's All-In successful pay-per-view, as well as Ring of Honor's subsequent collaboration with New Japan Pro Wrestling at Madison Square Garden, demonstrated the viability of running opposition shows to the WWE. But the thing is, they've released every wrestler in the company. As noted by Paul Davis, the wrestlers who are under contract will be paid through December, but wrestlers will be allowed to work wherever they want. Some wrestlers' contracts will remain in effect through March 31st. Brian Alvarez reported that company sources said that the rumors about Sinclair Broadcasting cancelling the show are not true. As you might expect, this could present a huge problem for Ring of Honor as it winds down to December. Meltzer discussed the situation on a recent Wrestling Observer Radio. The basic gist of everything is that they won't be running with a contracted crew, so they'll essentially be an independent promotion and they will use whoever the top independent guys for the nights they do shows and the nights that they do television. You know, if they have people on TV doing programs, they will not be able to protect them from going to WWE or AEW or Impact or anyone who wants to sign them to contracts. It's going to be really tough for a champion. Probably be the best for them to have a champion who is signed to a contract with someone they do business with. Now, some fans are skeptical about whether Ring of Honor will return, and there's even speculation that the company might be prepped for a sale. Ring of Honor, which debuted in 2002, is currently owned by the Sinclair Broadcast Group. Like many promotions, Ring of Honor suffered due to the pandemic, suspending live events and switching its television shows to programs with no fans in attendance. Next up, Bray Wyatt teases a return in 2 days. A Wyndham Rotunda, aka former WWE superstar Bray Wyatt, continues to keep his fans informed on when he's going to be a free agent. The former Fiend tweeted on 27th October, 2 more days. That probably doesn't mean that he's going to show up on SmackDown, but it could mean that he could show up in AEW next week. And finally, Goldberg's last match. And last but not least, are you wondering whether Goldberg's big win over Bobby Lashley at Crown Jewel was his swan song? Now, some fans are saying that that was Dollar Bill's best match since his 2016 return to WWE, and it's hard to imagine him going out on a better foot. Nonetheless, Goldberg told Ring Rules, "I still feel as though I can wrestle. I still feel as though I can entertain. I have one more match after this. I have one more match on my contract, and that's it." Do you think this should be Goldberg's last match? Let us know in the comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.